and graphics aficionado. With a deep love for technology, especially in gaming and AR/VR industries, he stays ahead of the curve by devouring research papers even on weekends. His infectious passion attracts colleagues from all departments, making everyone eager to collaborate with him. So, let's get to know more about Chakit Patel, studio partner and head of Stat and Games at Infogen Labs. Hi, Chakit, and welcome to Beyond the Workstation. It is great to connect with you. Thank you so much for taking out time and doing this interview slash discussion.
Yeah. Hi, Priyanka. Pleasure is all mine. I have been through the previous episodes, especially Subbu sirs and Sanjeev sirs, and it was very inspirational and great to know their thinking behind and their problems and how they tackled it. These kind of experiences, it was very grateful. I don't know how I would be helpful because I don't have that decade of experience, but I will share the decade of experience that I have, 10 years of
Absolutely.
last 10 years I could share. Yeah. Pleasure is
Yeah,
all mine.
absolutely. So, to begin with, we actually would like to know your journey in your own words.
Yeah. My journey actually started when I was a kid only. Like engineering journey started because coming from a middle class family and upbringing in middle class family in India, right? My father is an electrical engineer who used to work for MSEB, Maharashtra State Electricity Board.
Okay.
So like in our daily hood also, like whenever something is not working, say home appliances like washing machine or mixer or something, my father used to take a tester and the his toolkit, and try to open it and try to figure out why it's not working. And I used to sit beside him as a kid, as a teenager, or maybe even before that. I can't remember the exact age though. But so kind of engineering interest starts from there, how things work and how things work together in an appliances or all together in a system. So engineering kind of started there, but I was not sure. Like I can still remember that which line to take after board exams. I was still not clear. I was good at math, so I thought, let's do accounting, take commerce, go to CA or something like that. But then kind of my father kind of helped me in deciding, ki, okay, let's do engineering. Even though if you are interested in doing CA, you can do it later. Like because CA, as per my father's language, CA was not a degree; it is just a certification. Uh, so that kind of brought me into engineering line. Then the second question came, okay, which branch to take? So I was like, okay, everyone was taking mechanical, and my father also pushed me to take core branches at that time of period. Like these were the core branches that everyone were going into, like electrical and telecommunication, mechanical, and like computers was just started. So I started my engineering in mechanical, but eventually after first year, based on merit basis, I switched to computers because my interest then kind of changed, because I kind of made it clear, okay, I can't do mechanical because it was a too much of workshop and hard work there. I was ready to do electrical because, as I said, right, I have been working with my father with home electrical circuits, because did my junior college 11th 12th also in electronics, so that helped me. But father kind of introduced me to the computers when I was doing my 11th or 12th, somewhere around there. So at that time, it kind of started interesting me. I started playing games. That's where my game journey started. Okay, again, the similar logic where I used to sit with my father, how mixer or house appliances work. So I started to figure out how games started working. So I kind of, while I was doing engineering, I kind of did all the workshops. There were a few workshops, game related workshops, that I tried to attend and try to learn how games are made, video games are made. And I played also a game while I was in college. So that kind of uh, interests me, because that is my hobby also. Still now I play games like every week. I can still spend 2 3 hours playing games, not competitive games, but I like playing story-based role-playing games. Play as a character, live a life that character is living, and see where it goes in his journey. Kind of like that, and wear a headphone, just immerse yourself in his story and try to explore his journey. That kind of games I play. Then coming to after doing my engineering, luckily, like I was placed in Oracle while I was uh, in the final year. Like I had not completed final year yet, and I got placed in
Okay.
Oracle. But my plans were different. Like I wanted to do MS in special again in game development and or simulation AR VR, this immersive
Right.
technology, because I wanted this graphical or immersive side, as since the computer and interest in computer and games has was at the peak in the final year. But
Right.
again, peer pressure, family, fans again said Oracle is one of the biggest company that you would say no to, and I would be a fool to do that. So the kind of peer pressure made me do job for at least 2.5 years. I was there with Oracle
Okay.
for 3 years, but I was still
Okay.
doing freelancing and in the gaming stuff because that interests me, and that
Right.
kind of motivated me to work Monday to Friday, and Saturday Sunday is my time where I can still fit in my freelancing work or learn making games and immersive tech, this AR VR tech and all those stuff.
Right.
So this is how, like after 2 years again, I reached out to my parents' father, especially because my father is strict in all these terms. Like when I switch my lines, and he was the one who introduced me to engineering line also. So I said, okay, now 2 years are over. You said do a job in Oracle for 2 years and then do whatever you want. So, but still, then I have been settled for 2 years. Then family pressure started for getting married. Um, so at that point of time, it was peak. Like that was my peak. I can't bear more because at that time I was like I was going to killing my mind and going to office and working in a fintech. I was in fintech. I used to make apps for Citibank, HDFC. These were our clients. They're
Okay.
Oracle clients in the projects that I am working on. But that was not fruitful to me in
Right.
terms of peace inside me.
Correct.
So I actually kind of quit one day without letting anyone know, without letting my parents know, because I have already enrolled for a MS in Birmingham City University. I got an offer also. Then I shared it with parents
Wow.
again. Then due to some family issues, I was not able to attend. Family health issues of parents that I was not able to do. But I have already quit, so I can't undo that.
Yeah.
I landed then in Hyderabad for PG in game development. It was not as good as the college that I was. I got an offer from Birmingham City, but it was still a good place to start to switch a career in
Correct.
the another domain. So,
Right.
but it ended up like I ended up doing PGD from ICAT. There's ICAT Institute in Gaming and Animation in Hyderabad. I did a 1 year diploma PG diploma course from there, and again there also I landed up like landed a job in gaming industry like Tubo and Technologies. This was the company which hired me while I was doing.
Okay.
And, so my lecturers and my professors said, okay, you do the job because they wanted my time more. So because I already have knowledge, because I was not learning more there as game developer. It was the other way around. I was helping professors as an assistant in teaching other students. So I kind of that was my extra income. I do workshops here and there and kind of earn from the college, ICAT
That's
college
great.
itself. And then these two foreign technologies kind of were new into the gaming and immersive space. They were creating a new team, and I was a part of that, and I helped them create a core team of I guess we started with five, and then we ended up when I left in 2000, I guess 18. Uh, there were a team of I guess 7 or 8 people again. Like at that time I left, but they have few projects based on which they continued their work when I shifted my journey from Hyderabad to Pune, where I started my journey with Mobilia first. Like for first eight
Okay.
months, I was working in Mobilia with Sanket. Like Sanket was serving his notice period there, and I joined there. It was only for like for first couple of months, like we interacted, and then Sanket came to Infogen Labs and kind of introduced me to Sanjeev and Vinod, and I kind of liked uh, uh, the project that they were working on. And I always, as I said, like gamifying stuff, I always wanted that because it makes boring stuff cooler to learn, right? That was the part in Tuberon technologies also was the same, but those were not educational games. Those were more into employee based learning, it was
Okay.
manufacturing employees, gamifying few training modules for them.
Okay.
And There was a client called Global Gan who has MBA employees or interns joining, so they have their training module that they want to gamify to make it interesting rather than having a simple theory based learning and MCQs around it. So they want a more
Hmm.
immersed or gamified way learning, so that that learning
Right.
stays with them for a longer period of time.
Right.
So that kind of I like the idea when Vinod and Sanket shared this idea in this project. The Cray was the first project where it was kind of metaverse at that time that we were involved in, and the Hatch was just started. We were just architecting Hat
Okay.
or just putting down the idea on the on the paper at that time. So these were the two projects which kind of interested me, and I shifted from Mobilia to Infogen in
In.
2000, 19 start, like January, Feb, and I have been working in Infogen since then in different aspects. Like I started with Cray, that my open world metaverse, then Hatch, few different projects, few POCs in AR, VR, AR tech, uh, and now it is I am kind of mesmerized with AI, ML. Uh, and I guess Sanjeev has an important role to play in it because his interests kinds of interest us also. Uh, and it's a time need in tech, right? As you see the direction of the technology that going in. So we and in gaming also, I wanted to use this tech, right? Nowadays, gaming have also started using this technology, having
Okay.
AI systems in it, so that you cannot
Right.
predict the game that I play versus any other guy who play who is not professional gamer. So they can manage the difficulty level based on that. AI can manage it accordingly. And even when you interact with another non-playable characters, you don't feel that whether you are interacting with a machine learning or robot agent if you
Right.
have an AI into it. So that kind of interests me, and that's why I started into this direction. And let's see where it takes us. Right now, we have started Stud 10. We have 8 9 month old baby Stud 10. Where we have started into commercial space of
Right.
gaming,
Right.
more games for end customer, which are just for fun, just like Candy Crush or Subway Surfer, Temple Run, like that. So let's
Right.
see. Our end goal is to make games, AAA games for PC and Xbox, PlayStation. We have a common idea, Sanjeev's and our team core idea is built upon. We have wanted to share stories of Shivaji Maharaj or Indian heroes like Prithviraj Chauhan in games, but right now we are in developing a core
Building
team.
stage.
Once we have that, we can
Right.
develop over that. So
That's
that's the
great.
journey till now. I hope
That is
I didn't take too much time of.
not at all. I mean, we are here to listen to you, right? Time is what
Yeah,
we want with you. So it's
right.
perfect, actually. And thank you so much for telling us, details about your journey. It has clearly been up and down, but very
Up and down.
interestingly so.
Yeah,
I think every Indian child goes up and down, especially when we are trying to
yeah,
listen to our parents versus trying to listen to our own needs and wants.
correct. A
So I
typical,
wanted
you say, middle class family's
to,
journey.
yes, yes, I think everyone either goes for engineering or commerce. I think
Commerce,
that is
yeah,
the complete middle class
completely.
mindset, which is, I mean, not bad anything.
Not bad
If
also.
anyone wants into it, then for sure. But yes, all of us, I mean, I believe have struggled with, wanting to do what our parents are saying because they do know
Absolutely.
us, but at the same time wanting to do what we want to do because, our head is like, no, this is not what I want to do.
Yeah.
So
That I
how did you?
eventually end up doing that, but after following their path for some time
Correct.
and getting out of the home privileges when I started living by my own expenses,
Right.
then it's better to take that decision. And when I was we were learning, actually, it's good. They are only the path showers to us
Correct. Correct.
direction because we have not seen the world. They have seen more than
Absolutely.
us. So yeah, it's better to take their
Absolutely.
advice, experience it. If not working, then we can
Then
take it
switch.
forward.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. That makes sense. How do you think doing engineering has helped you? I mean, gaming, I believe, I mean, I don't know anything about it, but gaming is so complete opposite or completely different from what engineering entails. But how do you think that helped you in your current career?
Okay. I guess there are two parts to gaming. One is the artistic and creative side of it, and one is still engineering side. A game also has an engineering behind it because it is still a software which runs on a machine. So programming is still needed. So I was more interested on the programming side only. I was not on the artistic side
Understood.
or drawing wise or tool wise, animation wise. So that helped me, like programming knowledge or computer knowledge helped me uh, uh, define the engineering behind the game, how things put together. In terms of games, it should not shoot your RAM or it should not heat up your systems. So this kind of stuff,
Right.
it helped me. And it also bring me to a community like as you know, engineers are very in engineering hostels or wherever they stay, they play a game a lot. So this community build up where we can
Right.
make a team and having similar interests bring me together with them. Maybe because I cannot make game with just engineering knowledge. I still need someone
Correct.
creative person also to think of it. So this
Correct.
kind of friends I got from engineering. So that's where I guess majorly the programming side, I mean, engineering side have helped me in my journey. But if you are seeking for the artistic side of the game, then probably you should take a design side of course that would help more
Right.
than engineering.
Right. That's great. That's great to know. So I mean to ask you, how did your, considering that you left your job without anyone knowing, and unfortunately you couldn't go to the university you wanted to go to, but how did your father especially come to terms with the fact that you've left your job and that you're pursuing your, PG diploma, or further studies in a field that is at that time, I'm sure it was completely unknown to them as well, right? Because nobody really had too much knowledge about it. I mean, I honestly still believe not a lot of people have a lot of knowledge still. So at that time, how did your father come to terms with it finally?
So like it was a struggle, as you know, from like I was afraid of my father. Like first of all, he is a very strict figure from since my childhood. So I was very afraid of father. That was one of the reason. And like actually not only father, the peer pressure also, the relatives or say the idol that I follow in the family who is like senior to me, like 1 or 2 years
Right,
in the IT industries. Everyone was like, "You are full to do this," but I was like, I'm not enjoying it anymore, right? I mean, it was like uh, I can't even remember what things I do for those 2.5 years or 3 years. I just do it for the sake of the salary that comes at the
right,
month end, but there is no but the point number one, like what I kind to explain is I didn't want to go to Birmingham also without their approval. I am not that kind of guy that makes your family unhappy and go out at that
right.
time when family needs me, like whatever issues were going on around family. I was not ready to do that, so I said okay.
Um,
I kind of explained my father, like Three Idiots movie played an important role also
okay.
to kind of explain, help me explain my father. Like I just rented my 2 years of life. Say, okay, give me 2 years
Right.
in Hyderabad, kind of, and if it doesn't work, I will do whatever, like wherever you can get me back into. But luckily, as I said, right, even while I was doing my PG, I started doing freelancing work.
Correct.
So this work kind of helped me getting a proper job, whatever I was earning in Oracle to start faster, right? So in this 2 year,
Right.
I was able to manage, and then one of the reason was marriage. Also, I don't want to get marriage because I was too young. In our families, in Gujaratis, you know, generally they marry at a younger age. Uh,
Yes.
which I was not ready yet because at that time in my career there was no scope because as I said, I have rented my 2 years. I still have to like make my career stable first, then think of
Correct.
marriage. Uh, Even without if I continued my Oracle journey, I was still a 2 year or 2.5 year old in my
Correct.
IT. I was not stable. Uh, I started early because I was younger in my every year school as well, because I didn't do my
Right.
preschool. I directly started from the first standard. So
Okay.
even if I completed till I completed engineering, I was 2 years younger or 1 year younger from the around uh, my friends who
Other
were
public,
there.
right.
So that also was there in my back of the mind. So I have 2 years
Correct.
extra based on my colleagues that
Correct.
I have, and that calculation also I kind of sold it to my father. Uh,
Nice.
and my father himself got married at 28 year of age, and he was
Ah,
he was making me married in 25 because I got a job early.
okay.
So these kind of were the points. These were funny interactions, but this seems funny now, but it were very
Yeah, at
uh,
that time,
serious
correct.
discussion, and how to put in front of the family.
Correct.
That was a bigger question, and for him it was more. He's again afraid of his father, like my grandfather,
Right.
and he kind of went to explain him what's going
Yes.
on. And my father's journey was also similar, because my grandfather is a typical Gujju Bania businessman. Uh,
Okay.
uh, and my father kind of stepped out of that business market because there was too many family fights. Like grandfathers were involved, and my father was well educated. He said, I can make my decent living with my job only, because he did his engineering in those days, and kind of landed a job in MSCB, and he did MSCB job for 30 years or more, right? So he kind of stepped
Wow.
out from that life, staying away from his family. Uh, so that kind of made my grandfather little bit angrier to my father always. That was one
Right.
reason. My grandfather always wants me to continue the business. Like whenever I was in school or college, in summer vacation, I used to go and help him
Right.
in his business. Like we have a raw sawmill, raw material of wood for furnitures, that
Okay.
business in Itarsi, MP. So whenever I visited during my vacations in Diwali or summer vacations, I used to help him. So that helped me get my business sense.
Right.
uh, Auctioning, I helped him in auctions where we used to go to forest. That was again fun part. Like we used to go different forests in MP for auctioning the woods
Wow.
lot there, and then come back, and then we have a sawmill. We cut out the raw material, filter out the unused, the wasted material, and then sell it to the ones who are in needed. Now we have kind of expanded that to furniture, plywood industry, furniture hardware, as you know, right?
Okay.
So that my cousins are taking care of. But
Right.
my grandfather died yesterday, well, last year, like during Corona. I mean, so it's now cousins and my uncle kind of handles that business. And my
Right.
father is retired and he is enjoying his life now. So and his both sons, like my younger brother, is also working in TCS. So they are
Okay.
well
Everyone is settled. He
settled.
is
Yeah,
happy.
he's happy now.
That's good. That's very good.
That's the end goal of a typical retired life of a
Yes.
government employee, right? Yeah,
Yes,
is
absolutely. I
both settled.
completely understand. I think every parent's entire goal is that my kids are settled now.
Kids are happy, yeah.
Now I'm
And
okay
both
with
are married
everything.
also now. So he's also married. My younger brother is also married. So
Okay. So then to sone pe suhaga. Everyone is everything is settled.
uh, now, like
Nice.
kids, get kids. Like I have a kid. I have a daughter, 2 years old, but my parents are getting behind my brother. Now it's like 1.5 year or 2 years. He is married. So okay, then
Yeah.
like that.
Well, that's
So their
normal
expectation
path.
never ends. That's a life journey. Everyone's
I mean,
life
that
journey.
is,
So
I
yeah,
think, for everybody, right? For even
yeah,
for us, I'm
same.
sure our expectations are just now I've done this, now I want to do this. Now I've done this, now I
Correct.
want to do this. It's always there. I mean,
It's always
which exactly is what I'm coming next to. I mean, I love the idea of introducing, Shivaji Maharaj and all of these Indian great
superhero.
people.
Yeah.
Yes, superheroes to include in a game, because I think it will be fun to play, but at the same time, I think it is, going to be educational, right? So that is great. So how do you think gaming is important in someone's life? I mean, do you think there is some part that everyone should look into it?
I mean, I think gaming could bring a change in everyone's life. Like, first of all, it brings you to kind of piece which it kind of brought to me, like when it is inspirational, as I said, that if you are into gaming and if you read books of the same Shivaji Maharaj, let's take an example of Shivaji Maharaj and any other Prithviraj Chauhan or superhero,
Right.
or freedom fighters. If you read a book, sometimes like you cannot imagine how what the exact
Correct.
situation around, because you're not immersed as
Correct.
much while you are in reading, while you actually feel in the virtual environment. We will try to copy as much details that we can and bring it. So, and it kinds of uh, make this boring stuff have a fun, make it a fun way to educate
Correct.
or experience basically. So
Correct.
in that way, like if any topic that you are not liking, if I gamify it, maybe you can learn, like math, for example, typical mathematics
Correct.
is the majority of the people's problem, that mathematics is so boring and so difficult. Like I think
Yes.
gamifying many of the mathematic topics can help many children, or many individuals also, like mathematics is involved in engineering also, to
Yes.
understand and make this topic fun and learn at the both at the same time. So this kind of change a game can bring, and nowadays there are many research also going on. It helps in your like if you are depressed, it can help you get out of depression also. So that because you kind of cut out the real life and get immersed into a story of some particular, let's say Shivaji Maharaj, and kind of experience that, which kinds of let you forget the problems that you have in real life.
Correct. Correct.
So
That is, I mean, very well put. I mean, if I even put myself in the situation, I remember myself in school and I used to hate history. I used to like hate it from the bottom of my heart. I'll say, okay, I understand that I have to read who Shivaji Maharaj was and what he did, but why do I have to write an exam on it?
right.
You
I
know?
also hate history because specifically history questions are also same, like on what year, what date this happened. I
Exactly.
mean,
Exactly.
uh, is this a memory test or is this a learning that that was behind Shivaji's mind, or say the spiritual mind, what was behind Shivaji, that is more important. I don't know. India,
Exactly.
that is the problem with India education. I think they are working on it. I mean, eventually, hopefully, we will get better to
Hopefully,
it,
yes.
and our
But
younger
yes,
generation will have a better version of history that we saw
I really
as a
hope so.
subject.
But truly it is that, because I remember being in school and I was like, but I don't care what year he did what. My head was in that space. And the only time that I used to even like listening about it or understanding it was when my father used to sit with me, because my father used to teach me geography and history, and he used to make it interesting by making it a story. So I mean,
Story.
I believe it is important to know history in terms of knowledge, but I
Hmm.
just never understood, why do I have to give an exam on it? Like, it doesn't make sense. I
Hmm.
don't care कि 1700 में शिवाजी ने तलवार निकाली कि नहीं निकाली. Like,
Correct.
in my head that was the scene. But like, if in the future, if they gamify this, it will definitely be so
Definitely.
interesting, because it's not going to be theoretical. I don't have to sit with a book and read
Right.
and learn everything. Even watching something is so good because it will be stuck in my head.
Right. That's the science. Like if you see something that will stay with you longer than you read, first of all, that's the science. So that way gaming will help education in a way where the
Correct.
learnings will stay with the kids for a longer period of time. And
Right.
and I would also like to add, like if you see the Western gaming, like the in specifically in Europe and US, they have so many stories out of their historical figures. They have they're not only historical figure. Let's bring in the fighting mechanisms, like how knights or ninja techniques are popular in movies also right nowadays. You don't know
Right.
what Shivaji his techniques were in fighting.
Correct. Absolutely.
Like that thing also we can teach it via gaming. If we do not have a bigger gaming industry is a boon right now in India also, because
Right.
of there are many unexposed techniques, like this war techniques, or untold stories or superheroes from Shivaji era to our independence fighting. Let's say Veer Savarkar story
Correct.
also inspires me. I mean that also, if gamified, it can be a bigger story. Ramayana story can be gamified. It can be even bigger. Mahabharata. We have very so many stories which people were not
Absolutely.
touching previously because of people are afraid of touching, because there was always a violence side, how to portray that, and there is a ban
Correct.
coming into it. But nowadays government is supporting that. Like in this year only, IT minister have said we will fund the studios who will help making this gamified learnings of our mythologies
Mythological.
bring out into the gaming world, so that it will then become viral and it will be played by more people and get to know what techniques Shivaji
Yes.
used versus Prithviraj Chauhan used in their solo fights or sword fights or whatever. But we don't know. We always know who are the good fighters. It comes from ninja techniques, or it is a knight, which is again a bishop, and knight again a Western a shoulder unit
Correct.
soldiers that they have. So there are many things to learn from our history as well, that even
Absolutely.
we as Indians are kind of, it is unexplored to them as well, because they have read the books
Absolutely.
but now not experienced it in the movies. Like nowadays there are many movies like
Correct.
coming, but still if it is game, like it will reach to a bigger audience and you can play with it. I mean, you can really experience it, that can stay with you for a longer time.
Correct. I mean, I absolutely agree with you. Okay, so you have 5 minutes more, right?
Yeah,
Is that okay?
yeah.
Okay, just 1 second. I'll just put my charger. Don't worry, I'll just ask you one or two more questions.
Okay. It is a good conversation.
Yes, absolutely.
I thought it would be related to technology. That's why I was like, okay, I
No,
will
no,
have
not
to
at
be
all.
updated in terms of tech.
Okay. Okay.
It is more of a few podcasts that I follow. I think you would know TRS uh, and
Yes.
Jay Shetty.
Yes, yes. He's
So yeah,
actually very famous. Yes.
yeah, these are very famous, and their
Yes.
conversation kind of happens like this, like where they just focus on normal talk and kind of bring out the reason behind or the spiritual reason behind it, or what make
Yes.
you decide this. So
I mean, I
they are
think
also
it's
kind of
very
inspirational.
important. It's very important, like whether it is our own colleagues or even the younger generation. I think
Yes.
it's very important for them to listen to the normalcy of something that can be very technical or that can be very questionable because you don't understand so much about it. So
Right.
just to understand the thought process behind something, I think that also helps clarify what you might want to do, even. So coming to that, I mean, in gaming, I understand that we've covered, that we want to get into mythology and all of that is very important, I feel. Talking about myself again, Ramayana and Mahabharata was always like a phew over my head. Like,
Right.
I used
Yeah.
to mix the two. And my mom used to be like, oh my God, you're embarrassing me, stop talking. And I'm like, okay, I don't understand any of this and I don't have any interest in it either. I mean, the only time I've gone into any mythology or anything of that sort is when my grandmother used to tell me about Birbal stories.
Right.
Like nothing
Agreed.
apart from that, very honestly speaking. So I think even to me, it would be very interesting to,
Right.
get
Ramayana also,
into.
I think, to all the Indians, it is only like still we only know. I will say 30% of Ramayana only, because that
Yes,
whatever Ramanan Sagar or the Ramayana, the later Ramayana, that Star Bharat or Star TV show, we know only that stories. But there are
correct.
many like side stories also which didn't get
Sure.
popular, which we can kind of explore. Like there are many more characters to
Yes.
Ramayana and Mahabharata.
Yes, and there are books to it. I'm not saying there aren't books, but
They are books.
very honestly speaking, very few people
You
actually read them.
read them.
So
Yeah.
even including myself, I read a lot of books, but I don't read those books. So
Right.
I think that is definitely where gaming will definitely, get into picture a lot. There's also another thing I want to touch base with is like we mentioned, the gaming zone takes you into a completely different world, which like you said, yes, absolutely would help with depression or any of these even social issues that you might be facing, even to reduce your stress. I'm sure that is very helpful. But how do you control the other aspect of it? It's like getting too much into virtual reality where you kind of lose touch with reality itself. Like, how do you manage that? How difficult and how easy do you think is it to manage that?
Like, I guess there are two sides of everything like technology right
Yes.
now also, right? The problems that we see with internet or social media is the same. Like if you start rolling the reels in Instagram,
You just keep.
you don't know where to stop. Actually, I ended up, okay, I wasted my 2 hours uh, uh, of it when I start rolling it, and they have a good AI behind it that keeps on
Correct.
predicting the ones that you would like.
Oh, yes.
So, but the thing is like the same things we can do, which the social media is trying to do. Uh, if it is a story-based game, it will end the immersiveness at the end of the story.
Correct.
That could bring out. If you are into again addictive gaming is again competitive gaming. Once you start playing those games, just like PUBG,
Right.
Battleground, Call of Duty, Counter Strike, these games it becomes nowadays it has become esports also like there are tournaments which are happening just like any normal sports into it. But again while I guess it's good to have to till some extent, but while you are still into education, like you are a younger age, like you will have to manage your time, how much time you
Yes.
spend. uh, that is again one of the my reason to my parents only started playing games like Candy Crush uh, whole night, and they do not know where to stop. Like if my mom is playing Candy Crush and she gets a phone, she used to ask my grandfather or relative who is calling, wait for 5 minutes, I just ending the Ludo
Finish.
game or Candy Crush game. And this started after this Corona period because we have not
Yeah.
introduced games to my parents yet, because in the Corona time the depression and stress cycle was at the peak, and we have
Quite
to
high. Yeah.
we used to play Ludo remotely with different family members sitting in
Right.
different states. And then that kind of they kind of addicted to it, and now they still play. But again, we have a thanks to Google, we have a timer limit to it. Just like we have you can manage your kids, you can manage your senior citizens also by putting a timer limit. Okay, WhatsApp is available for 3 hours daily. You manage
Yes.
whoever you want to send messages to in that time period. After that, it will be blocked or something like that. Uh, but yeah, this is how we can same this timer things can be done uh, in gaming also to cut you out from addiction, like before you get
Correct.
into it too much.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, that is a very possible solution, and that's a great point. So the last thing I wanted to ask you was, so the new generation right now, especially like you said, gaming is quite in boom. So there are two questions that I have. It's like a two-part question. One is, what would you advise the new generation into getting into gaming, or like what are the basics that they must do? You came from an engineering background, so I think that helped you with the programming. But for someone who doesn't maybe want to do engineering, is there anything else that they can do? That is one part of it. And second part of it is that where do you think gaming is going next?
Yeah. Good. I would take the first question. Like they are lucky enough because now, like recently, I've seen. I was just checking out the colleges. There is a gaming in BTech or BE also in engineering and game development. There is in decent colleges in India and across the globe also. So now
Right.
game development is officially a field, just like any normal IT field. So they can opt that in that field. I was just checking out the subject. They have both the aspects covered: artist side, animation side, as well as
Oh,
the
wow.
engineering side. So you can
Yeah.
start with BE or BTech in gaming, and then do MTech in the respective specialization that you want. That I would suggest. But um, I would still say before that, start playing games and at least try to absorb what games are doing and how they are made. Kind of ask yourself this question: ki how things are working, and if that interests you, then get into gaming. Because right now gaming and simulation, I'm just bring the simulation part also
Absolutely.
into gaming. Right now we have simulation gaming also, which helps training. There are flight simulator, there are train simulators, there are like manufacturing unit simulators, like you can run a factory, virtual factory, which helps you gamify running a factory, earn money, and kind of understand you the business of that also. So that also helps you learn few aspects of gaming and real world also in a virtual environment without the loss, without facing actual losses.
Actual loss.
These are virtual currencies. So into that. So I would say try playing games and try to see which genre, because inside gaming also there are different genres. As I said, simulation,
Right.
casual gaming, multiplayer, competitive gaming, and educational gaming. Which I prefer educational and simulation one more, and I am into story based one because I wanted to put out more stories which inspire,
Correct.
which you can take experience as playing the character like Shivaji and all these superheroes, which can you, which can
Right.
inspire you, similar to podcast that we are doing, maybe, but in a bigger, in an immersive way.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
I personally like these three genres more, but you can pick any one of it. And coming to the direction, future, not only gaming, I think, as I said, right, AI is the next thing that is coming up. So AI has started integrating into gaming. So a same game, Candy Crush game, can be easier for you versus it can be difficult to me, because based on my cycles that
Right.
how I have played, it would work like. And let's say Shivaji game also, if I am fighting with some enemy in a using a Shivaji, the enemy will fight back. There will be AI behind it, so it will be easier for the one who's, because our focus is the journey, not the skills of
Yeah.
the
Right.
fighting. So that can be properly balanced using this AI. And even the dialogue system, the communication inside the gaming, that we, when we communicate with these NPCs, that would help AI. But one of the thing which I saw, which is a completely future tech in one of the conferences that I have went recently in last year 2023, was there was a headgear. It is not related to gaming. It can be used for any systems.
Okay.
Where if you wear a helmet, there are knobs around it. Right
Okay.
now, you there is a wake word Alexa or Google to do
Correct.
something. You don't need to the. Eventually, you will be connected. You just have to think. Okay, Alexa, just shoot me out the details for XYZ topic. So it will start speaking it. So the effort of speaking to Alexa or triggering or typing in Chat GPT will also be gone.
That's
There was
great.
this demo where they had this headgear, and there was a ball in on the screen, and there was a pit. You just have to make the ball jump over that pit and land on the other platform on that set. So I just wore that, and the input is just you think that you are moving ahead and jumping,
Okay.
and jumping the ball, and it did happen. And there are so many tech in this space also, like neural tech plus AI is going to happen. That is maybe first in the first industry 4.0, maybe AI. Once AI is
Right.
bigger enough, then we probably
Going to be
eventually
able.
technology is there to make people lazy. So right now we are lazy. We just have to type to ChatGPT, make a game. Nowadays you can get a small snippet of game in ChatGPT also, and or talk to Alexa for some details. They give you, and eventually this effort
Right.
also you won't have to make. You just wear Google glasses and just think it. In Google glasses there will be some connectors in your head, and you just have to
Crazy.
think it, and it will give you those details. And eventually we will become more lazier. So, and that's where technology is growing. Actually, that's what I feel. The technology is makes you lazier. Eventually, the mankind, if you see the same thing, mankind, it
That's true.
wherever there is scope of making you lazier, the technology has grown there.
I mean, I love this. I think I'm going to use it as a tagline. So technology to make you lazy. But
Yes.
I mean, it does make sense. That is what has happened. So I'm hoping that, while technology is progressing, and that's great in terms of progress as a person, as a country, as everything, I
Yes.
feel.
Yeah. So
I
it's
really
there
do
for to
hope
make
that
life
we,
easier of human beings only, and
yes,
and that defines a broader scope. Easier means lazier, right? So
lazy. Yes. So I hope that the counter also makes an effect and we come up with some
yeah.
random fun games that make us non-lazy.
Like, yeah, just like Just Dance and all that. Nowadays there are many hand moving games or
Yes.
dancing games that are coming
Yes.
around, where you actually interact with the game by doing some physical activity.
Yes, I mean it was such a big step, right, in the gaming zone when they made games where you can. I don't know what it's called. I'm very bad at gaming lingo. Uh, what was that stick you used to use to? You can play
Uh,
tennis and cricket
yeah,
and
PlayStation stick that you get.
PlayStation.
uh,
And now I think you can do it with palms,
with
right?
hands
It's
only
just
now. Yeah, just
yeah. I
webcam is
mean,
needed. And there are, like, we have made our game. Like, you can check out certaingames.com. In
yes,
in one of the game jams, Samir Vasnik made a game where you can use hand gestures to move your character in the game. So sign
that's
language.
great. I mean, we are progressing so much, but I'm also glad that these games are also into picture because I mean, I have played, I think I've played tennis once like this, and it is actually exhausting. So it is a lot of fun to even play those, and it's stimulating. You can do it at home. You don't necessarily need to step out, but yeah, and
Yeah,
also I feel like it's so good for the younger generation because I
younger
feel you can
generation.
experience all different types of sports
Yes.
while you're at home. Choose the one that you really
Use
like,
the
and then
one.
go play it outside. I
Yeah,
mean,
right.
it's
Same.
amazing. It's
Fighting
really
or
good.
sword fighting, you can do it. Just
Yeah.
turn on and play with a virtual character. Camera will detect and score you or whatever. You can have a fun way, and that is a good way to do exercise or workout a little bit along
Yeah.
with uh, playing game with it. So
Yeah,
it's kind of
absolutely.
helpful.
I think it's a lot of fun. Lot to explore in this. And I think I can just keep going with like I don't know how many questions because it's never ending, I feel, in the gaming zone. But I do understand that you have a time
Yeah,
span. So
I still
yes,
have
I
5 minutes though. Yeah, 9:30. So it's not a
no, I
problem.
understand that. Thank
It's a
you.
good. It's a good direction that we are going.
Yes.
In yeah. In India also, we are behind the Western gaming. Whatever we have seen, we are still behind it, but it's catching up
I mean, we
at
always
a
catch
very
up,
good
don't we?
pace. Yeah, it's at a
We
very good
always
pace. Maybe
catch.
in another 2 years, we will be bigger than
Yeah.
Western community.
I feel like in certain areas, I feel India is the turtle that keeps going slowly, but then crosses over. I mean, a few years back, we necessarily want the country to look at in terms of
Yeah,
nuclear power, and now look at us. So I think
it is a
we
good
are
thing also,
slowly
I feel,
crossing.
because learning from the mistakes that they have done, moving faster, that helps
Yes.
us don't like that point it down and don't do the same mistake what China did or US did when they were moving faster in technology or gaming,
Yes,
whatever. Right?
absolutely. That's great.
Yes.
Well, it has been a great session, Chakit. Thank you so much once again for giving your time. And I hope I can have another session with you because there's so much more to discuss, I
So
feel. But this has been very informative and a lot of fun. Thank you so
yeah,
much.
thank you. Pleasure is all mine. It was a great time with you.
It's great. Thank you and have a really nice day ahead.
Thank you, Priyanka. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Bye.